Hey everyone, so we just finished watching the Sony press conference, and we saw the game of the decade there, which Stephen will probably talk about because it was by far his greatest thing ever. We got a great guest here, Pat. You probably know him as AppetitePat from the site. And then we got the usual group. We got Marc-Andre, we got Stephen, and we got Ahmed, and of course myself, Jarrod, the crazy one. So I don't want to start this because I just don't want to. So one of you guys are here. Ahmed, go ahead. What was announced? Let's start. Pick something, and we'll go around, say what was good, what was bad, and what have you.
Do you want me to go point by point? We'll just talk about individual points first.
Well, just what we can do, and so we don't repeat and give everyone a little bit of a chance. I'd say just pick one thing. Like start with one of the let's mention their PS3 stuff. Then we'll go into the Vita stuff or highs, lows. I don't really care. Whatever. We'll just see where this goes.
Yeah, we'll go with what they started with. Actually, there's a very heavy focus on collaborating with Ubisoft, and they did show a couple of obviously they have to push off with each game they show with Ubisoft, like Assassin's Creed and what do you call it, the other one, Far Cry 3. There's some DLC exclusives, but they showed off more gameplay. And everybody was impressed with the ship battles that are in Assassin's Creed 3 now. They look scripted, but they're really fun to play, very Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. But yeah, it's nice that they're collaborating with Ubisoft for strong stuff with Assassin's Creed especially. Obviously they announced the rumored and leaked title, which is the Assassin's Creed 3 spin-off for the Vita, and it's built from the ground up. And that's one of the really few titles that they showed off the Vita. We'll talk about that later, but they didn't show any gameplay, but they just, said that it's from the ground up. And I liked it so far. I liked the collaboration with Ubisoft. How about you guys?
I also very much enjoyed the collaboration they had with Ubisoft. And Ubisoft just earlier today had the best conference, IMO, of them all.
I agree.
Yeah.
And They showed off. I don't know why I'm talking about Ubisoft's conference, but they showed off. What was it? Watch Dogs.
Watch
was
Dogs.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And someone else take the torch. I have nothing else.
Yeah,
to say about
Ubisoft really surprised me with their conference today. And to be honest, the first reaction I had when I saw that they were going to show more Assassin's Creed and Far Cry was like, "We just saw this. It was good, we just saw it, so why are you showing me this?" But the ship battle was new, and it was surprisingly interesting. And then in Far Cry, they managed to show us a well-kept secret that it's going to have 4-player multiplayer co-op. So yeah, even though they showed more Ubisoft that we've seen, it was still fresh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stephen?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna take off on a different note here because you already covered the Ubisoft stuff. I'm just gonna go on what impressed me was just as I came back because not the podcast, but the conference crashed for me because my laptop exploded, and I went on my iPad, and just as I saw it was Battlestar Royale or whatever it's called, and it looks like something I want to play. I don't know about you guys, what your reactions were, but I wasn't very positive before that because it looked like, well, it still looks like a blatant ripoff of Super Smash Brothers, but still, I liked how they introduced a more fighting style, a classic with super moves and stuff like that, and health system, and it really looked like a blast to play. And it's just to be able to cross-play it on the Vita, have your own save, continue playing on the Vita and stuff. It looked like something amazing. Can you just clarify something? Let's say I buy the PS3 version. Do I have to buy the Vita version, or no, it's on both systems?
I think you have to buy 2 games, but they didn't specify.
Yeah, same here.
You'll have to buy both because MLB has a lot of functions like that, and you have to buy both versions.
Oh, okay. I thought you could buy one and play it on both, but all right.
But yeah, me too.
That Battle
I think it has cross saves.
Awesome. Yeah,
cross saves and 2 trophy packs, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was, about the Battle Royale, I was the same impressions as Steven. It sort of impressed me when I saw live gameplay because, it does have a bit of fundamental differences from Smash Brothers. But what we were discussing before, where we were live blogging, what will make or break the game, what is going to be the cast of characters, obviously. And the more they get from their old PlayStation library, the better it's going to be, in my opinion. They did announce something out of the blue. The rumored thing that we saw was the two new characters. Nathan Drake is a welcome addition, but Big Daddy was kind of weird, but he could fit well. But in the same time, I really wanted them to announce something like Cloud, Crash Bandicoot, those PS1 games. Obviously, there's the big thing that I want them to put, even though I don't like the series, I didn't play the game as much. Characters from the Legend of Dragoon, for example, some obscure characters, just like what they did with Smash Brothers when they put the guys from Fire Emblem, etc.
Yeah, they might not be done. I don't know if they said they were officially done with all the characters, announcing all the characters. But like Steven, I didn't really look forward to this game until I saw that. I mean, the part that got me interested was the special power, where once it was activated, all the other players were like, oh shit, we got to avoid this now.
Yeah.
That looked interesting to me.
And they have a situation where they can do announce a character a month or announce a character every 2 weeks, and it'll be fun and it'll get a lot of buzz doing it. And they've got to have at least 20 characters, I'm sure. And I was really excited for Big Daddy. So yeah, that's gonna be my character.
Yeah, I really hope they do announce these characters eventually, And there's always the option of DLC, and the big up that it has on Smash Brothers is at least the online will be playable. Everybody knows that Brawl has a very unplayable online mode, laggy and terrible. It's gonna be
awesome playing with you guys, because Super Smash, that's a game that's made to be played with friends, just having fun, but you had to be sitting next to each other. And who has the time nowadays to do that? Everybody's scattered everywhere, so it's going to be awesome to have a good online mode that you can actually play.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. Yeah. Jarrod, anything?
Well, not on that. You guys have pretty well taken care of everything. So what have we done here?
Yeah, I got something, Jarrod. Sorry, can we get something all of the way right away? Can we talk about that book game?
That's exactly what I was just going to do.
Okay, let's do it.
Problem with the conferences, like this one was fairly entertaining, but always they need it feels like a drag sometimes to watch them, and it shouldn't be. It should be enjoyable all the way. I understand a bit here and there they want to show some little children game or some games that are probably not going to be as popular, but they need to show them to get some buzz or something. But they concentrated 15 minutes on that game, and
maybe more.
Maybe more. You could tell that the crowd was not into it at all. It was
and it was buggy as hell.
What were they thinking about that? Why would somebody want to showcase? He mentioned, this is our Super Bowl, but why would you bring something like that to your Super Bowl? It was really puzzling to me. As like I said, I don't understand what they're thinking with that. It might be a good children game, no doubt about it, but this is not children watching this show. It's for the Times and other mainstream media. Yeah, but for 15 minutes?
Yeah, if it would have worked, it would have been a lot faster, I think. But as you could see, the two girls were doing exactly what they were asked to do, and it just wasn't working. It doesn't work right now. They have to go back and work on it some more. I'm not saying it will be automatically a bad game, but right now it doesn't work.
The reason why it doesn't work is because the basis of this book game, or Wonder Book, or whatever it's called, they're using the PlayStation camera, and the PlayStation camera isn't exactly 100% accurate. As it's not as good as the Kinect, so which is why it's a bit buggy, So I wasn't surprised by that, but I was sort of indifferent towards the whole thing. I like the fact that they're encouraging reading and encouraging something for kids, and I'm a sucker for J.K. Rowling, so I'm sort of interested to check this out. But at the same time, I agree with you guys. This is not the place for it at all, and it went on for way too long.
Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. That was the highlight of the whole E3 for me. No, but, honestly, like I was saying before this, before we actually watched the conference, that Sony is in serious financial trouble. They've been in, like, as a corporation, they've been in financial trouble for, like, the last 2 years. Nothing to do with PlayStation itself, but the corporation needs, like, different revenue streams, and this is an intriguing one for them, at least they think it is. And I'm cool with that. Like, it makes sense for them to come out publicly and say, like, okay, look, this is what we're working on. Oh, and by the way, you might think that this might look a little gimmicky, and it might not be for you, the core gamer, but we've got, only the author behind Harry Potter. Here's a quick little trailer to demonstrate what we're talking about, and leave it at that. I would never have gone that hardcore into it just because it's just not the proper setting. It is the proper venue to mention this extra revenue stream for sure, because I mean that's the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to get people talking and whatever.
Absolutely.
But it's not the right place to devote more time to that than to The Last of Us. That's like batshit crazy.
And
Yep,
to the Vita
agreed.
almost.
Okay, well, let's jump
Almost.
on that.
Yeah.
Because I want to get this out, and then you guys can call me crazy or whatever. But I honestly think now Sony has a little bit of, like, an uphill battle, let's say, because they revealed Call of Duty Black Ops, Declassified, that was it. Which is
No
fantastic.
gameplay.
No, exactly. They just announced it flat out, that's it. Which right there, that could be huge. It could be massive. That's awesome. We know they've announced the Assassin's Creed Liberation. We know that there's the PlayStation All Stars coming, but there really is nothing else that we know of for this year, which is not cool because what the hell is coming out this holiday season on the Vita? Like, what's the big seller? Is it Call of Duty? Is that what we're supposed to believe? What is Sony been working on? I mean, that's been Sony's go-to guys. They've just released Uncharted, so are we to believe that they're not working on anything else now? And what about all new features? What about PlayStation Plus coming over to the Vita? What about anything? I mean, the fact that the Vita right now is like the sales worldwide have slowed down to a trickle, and you guys didn't devote like 10 minutes to the damn system. It just blows my mind. And I think that but when Nintendo holds their 3DS software conference on Wednesday evening, my God, they could like steamroll the Vita completely if they announce stuff like a new Resident Evil, the new Castlevania, and stuff like that. And I was just shocked that the Vita was a virtual no-show at the PlayStation conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, but even with the games that they announced, they didn't show any gameplay whatsoever. The only thing that they highlighted is the cross-play stuff between the Vita and the PlayStation 3. Stuff with, like, example, the Little Big Planet thing that they're doing, the DLC that you could actually, this is something like they're hinting toward. They want to like compete with the Wii in a way, but we noticed that the cross-play things between the PS3 and the Vita are software dependent. It's not like integrated into the console itself. So it depends on who wants to use it, and they have to program for it more. So Little Big Planet has that, and it's commendable. It's cool. So you could create using the Vita. It's obviously gonna be paid DLC, but other than that, they also throw away the announcement of PS1 games on the Vita. Woohoo! Okay, Danny, that's not really that impressive, And they've been touting for that for over a year now. So what's taking them so long? Obviously, the compatibility issues and whatnot. And other than that, they didn't show any gameplay from any Vita games. Not even a highlight reel demo for the upcoming titles. Even before we started the podcast, Jarrod was asking the same questions. What else is coming out in terms of? And I'm trying to think. The only game that's coming out this month is Gravity Rush. That's the original game, and they're not promoting it in any way whatsoever. Even though the game is really good and getting really good reviews. And there's the port of the Metal Gear HD collection. Silent Hill has been bumped to October. There's
a Little Big Planet, isn't there?
Yeah, but they didn't announce the release date, so I'm surprised. What? They didn't even show it on the PlayStation on the floor. So what's going on with that title? And it's kind of weird, considering that we were looking for games, and we're also talking about the Vita before the podcast, Jarrod was talking about Resistance, the new game, and he was playing it. And you could share your detailed thoughts later, but you were saying that it wasn't, it's not that impressive, right?
Yeah, well,
But
exactly.
did you notice also during the conference, he said that Call of Duty will be the first a blockbuster or a AAA FPS game released on a handheld. Yet Resistance was just released, so he basically
I noticed that too.
He basically
You're completely right. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Well, it's because he's sort of like,
they glossed it over.
Well, yeah, he's like, well, look, guys, let's be honest here. I think Resistance as a franchise never lived up to the potential that Sony had thought it was going to basically live up to.
Quality, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, quality, I don't know about that, because I think quality-wise, it was always a superb shooter. Like, I questioned the co-op myself, but that's irrelevant. But, I mean, let's face it, they had the choice of picking between Sony Bend to do Resistance Burning Skies on the Vita or an unknown developer. And they said, no, Sony Bend, you can work on something else. Exactly. And we'll just give Burning Skies to someone else. Like that, what does that tell you? I mean, to me, that tells me that they had no faith in the Resistance brand whatsoever.
Well, the Resistance 3 was awesome. Like, we all enjoyed it, but I think 2 months later, I could find it on the $20 bargain bin at Walmart.
Yeah, it bombed.
It didn't sell at all, so that's why probably they're going to give up on that brand, which is sad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, considering Insomniac is no longer like a Sony exclusive developer, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So all that sort of ties into they did highlight a couple of Vita connectivity issues and stuff like that, which is software dependent, but they didn't show any gameplay. But sometimes I do have, like, I'm going to see the glass half full, because sometimes with these E3 conferences, it happens from time to time. After the conferences and during the show floor, we suddenly get a couple of announcements here and there. They sneak in a couple of stuff. Like, for example, you guys remember Super Smash Bros. Brawl was actually announced in the show floor, not in the conference. Yep. So maybe we're looking forward to some surprise announcements for the Vita.
Nintendo still has to do their conference, and they can steal the show. Right now, they can definitely steal the show from.
I don't think they can steal the show. I think now it's like a foregone conclusion that they're going to win E3 hands down. Because let's be honest, on Tuesday, all we're going to hear about is the Wii U. And what do we know right now of the Wii U? Nothing. All we know is we've seen a Super Mario Brothers game. We know about a Pikmin, but we haven't seen anything. We know that Assassin's Creed's going to be there. We saw a teaser for that Zombie U or whatever it was called, but we haven't actually seen gameplay. So the way I see it is, all Nintendo has to do to win E3 is show us 5 real Wii U games that we haven't seen. You know what I mean?
They could easily do that.
Yeah, all they have to do is that. Show me 5 games, and there you go, you won, because we don't know shit all about the Wii U. And then if they actually show us brand new 3DS games, well, then that's just icing on the cake, because the difference between Nintendo and Sony is that Nintendo right now doesn't need to talk about the 3DS at all. Because
we know the games. We know what's coming out.
Yeah, that's it. And we also look at their position. They're also in a position where they're kicking so much ass right now that they could be like, you know what, about the 3DS, we're just going to, the games that are coming to it, and they'll be released when they're released. Thanks for coming. And that would be pretty well good enough.
Well, guys, I'd like to jump in here on the Vita before we go out of topic too much. I'd like to try and give a different point of view.
Okay. Sure.
I'm probably the biggest fan of the Vita here, so that's why I want to do this. Since I bought it, I play half an hour on my way to work and half an hour back on my way home every day.
Nice.
So I have to agree, I was disappointed. They didn't show much, it's true. But it's not all that downhill from here. I mean, let's shed some light here. There's Gravity Rush coming in the next week.
I can't wait for that.
There's the Metal Gear Collection coming out pretty much the same time. I think Little Big Planet is coming out in July or August, so that's just a month away from those 2 games. Then you've got Assassin's Creed in October. Battlestar, PlayStation Royale is somewhere in between there. I don't know the actual release date. and then you have Call of Duty in December, and I think I'm forgetting about one game here. But that pretty much sounds like a major game every month, so it's not all that bad.
Yeah, that's major retail games, and you can always check out the indie stuff and the downloadable titles, which is
exactly. It's not all that bad.
Yeah, you're right, and they're sort of depending on their back catalog on the PSP, and people like to play their PSP games on the Vita. So yeah, when you put it that way. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty good, but they should have highlighted it in a way in the conference.
No, that's my point.
Exactly. The press conference was bad, but
it was confusing.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see right now. Right now, every week from the sales that Sony's provided, every single week since it's come out, it's dropped, and now it's gotten to the point where they stopped sending us our weekly hardware sales. So the way I see it is, it's gotten to a very bad situation. So they've got to do something. And keeping the status quo right now, that's my main concern over anything, is the fact that, this is when it needed just that little, oomph, just that little something. Because you're right. If you look at it in terms of what they come, it's almost every month now that there will be at least one major piece of software. But, they really need to emphasize that, there is one piece of software that's coming out, and yes, we are working on this, that, or the other thing. And that was the only thing that I felt was missing here, was that we just don't have. It almost looked like Sony was just like, we're comfortable where it is, what it's doing, and let's move on.
Yeah, they should have taken that stance with the PS3, not the Vita.
Yeah, that's just it. Because the PS3 right now, I find is in that position. It's in that position where it's well established. They've got a really strong, solid lineup. They announced all those titles previously, with the exception, which we haven't mentioned yet, which actually looks really badass, which is Beyond. That looks awesome. So that was a really good surprise. That was a really good surprise. I'm very happy about that. But anyways, I mean, we could be on about this forever. So what was your highlight and what was your biggest, how can I say this, your biggest highlight, and your biggest disappointment? Just go around.
Okay. I think my biggest highlight was the one you mentioned, that Beyond sort of surprised me because it looks awesome, looks amazing, and obviously everybody loves Heavy Rain and these story-oriented video games. And yeah, I was just surprised by Beyond overall because nobody, relatively little people expected something from David Cage pretty soon. But we were sort of expecting Sony to announce a buyout or something of the studio, Quantic Dream, but that didn't happen. And my disappointment, not disappointment per se, but sort of like a surprise. I was sort of, the rumors were rumbling about Sony buying a cloud service, and that didn't happen. I don't know why. That was kind of weird because everybody was rumbling, talking about this cloud thing. They were going to buy on Live or buy A.K.A, but nothing. They didn't show anything. I don't know. Did they do it or did they decide not to show it? It's sort of confusing, Maybe they were waiting for something from Microsoft and they were going to do it as a backup plan. I'm not really sure what they did with this cloud thing. And we sort of expected that to be integrated into a more expanded or bigger PSN Plus service. But as Jarrod suggested, that they didn't talk about the PS Plus much, except for the fact that they sort of touted, gave free 1-year memberships to all the audience, which they happily accepted, obviously. And the other thing is they're giving more free games off. That was pretty cool. But I expected more from the PS Plus expansion and the cloud service.
You guys, what was your highlight?
Go Pat.
My highlight was Beyond as well. We didn't really know if they were going to show it, so it was a little surprised that they did. And the graphics blew me away. Much better improvement over Heavy Rain. And that's pretty much all we needed to see. I mean, the story-wise, we already know David Cage can tell a story. If you're a fan, I'm sure you're going to love this one. He's not going to disappoint. God of War, they only showed gameplay. We didn't really need to see that. They didn't show multiplayer. They didn't talk about the story. So nothing big there. Last of Us, that was the game I was most anticipating. But again, it left more questions than answers. They didn't really answer anything, actually.
Agreed.
And as far as biggest disappointment, probably the lack of love for the Vita.
Mal, what about you?
My highlight, it was also Beyond. Last of Us, just slightly underneath, because I don't know, Last of Us. I don't know. Yeah, they both look great, and I can't wait to try them. And as well, All Stars is Battle Royale. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be a blast. So those 3 games are what I'm going to take away from this conference, and I guess that's good enough.
That's good enough.
What's your disappointment?
Disappointment? I don't own a Vita, so I don't care too much about that. I would have liked to see maybe next gen, but I didn't. But that was to be expected. I don't know. I guess the overall disappointment of their lack of a convincing business plan or convincing that they're going forward. Like, who was he? The guy, the host.
Jack Trenton.
Trenton.
Jack Trenton. He didn't look that confident at all in his product. He was shaking in his boots type thing, and he didn't inspire confidence in me. So I guess their overall direction is my biggest disappointment.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, come on, man. Now it comes the main man.
Yeah, well, my biggest, whatever you call it, what I liked the most was the quality of titles I saw. Like y'all mentioned Beyond, and that was impressive. I also liked The Last of Us, but The Last of Us, actually, I liked it a lot more before. Now, I kind of suspected it kind of confirmed what I've always suspected, that it's basically an Uncharted game in post-apocalyptic world, but it still will probably be a blast. I'm looking forward to the story and whatnot, so it's going to be a good game, but it's just dropped down just a bit because I thought that even with the setup, they were gonna bring something a little bit more original than just another Uncharted, which is not that bad, mind you. And also PlayStation Battle All Stars, I can't remember the game. Royale is the one that I'm looking the most forward to play. It looks like an absolute blast, and it's a day one purchase. My biggest disappointment, you've all mentioned the lack of the Vita news, which was disappointing, but for me it was God of War Ascension, which really confirmed for me why they didn't need at all a new God of War. The gameplay seemed exactly like the first 16 titles in the franchise. I've heard it was multiplayer. I haven't seen it at all. Maybe that might change my mind. I don't know if it's co-op or competitive. Maybe you guys can clear it up with me after, but it just seemed like a useless.
They're milking it.
Yeah.
I don't see why we need another God of War, but anyway, that was my biggest disappointment. So I'm gonna send it over to Jarrod.
All right, very good, man. It's funny because everyone was praising all this, that, and the other thing, and I actually wanted to touch base on the exact same thing that you did, which was when The Last of Us was first shown, that very first reveal trailer. Both Steven and I were like flipping out, but it's funny because I find the more I'm seeing with the game, the less excited I'm getting, and it's not because like it looks garbage or anything like that, but it's pretty well, like you said, it's slowly transforming into something what I guess deep down I always thought it would be, whereas I had these more wild ambitions for the game. So that actually was one of my biggest disappointments of the show, even more than the business plan, because for me it wasn't so much just the Vita or this, that, or the other thing. It was much more like Mal said, which was the fact that it looked like Sony's overall business plan just isn't quite as together as what we saw with like Microsoft's. Now, I'm not saying in terms of conference, which is better or whatever, but just like that, I think in terms of a disappointment, that was definitely it. But in terms of what I really enjoyed, it's pretty well everything else. Wonder Book is like way up there for me, man. I'm going to be all over that. No, but seriously, I really liked the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and Beyond obviously looks really good, and it just, you know what looks really good? The PlayStation 3 right now. Like, coming out of that conference, it just basically made me say, like, yeah, you know, the PS3, it's got one hell of a good year left in it for sure. And there you have it.
Weren't you surprised by the lack of the cloud stuff, Jared?
Yeah, I was surprised. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because I never really understood what they were going to do. Like, for me, that's why, like, when this rumor first popped up, I was saying that, like, I could see it as like a rental service or something like that. But you know what's kind of weird is that what is it, Gaikai, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
They're actually on their website. They're saying that at this E3 we're going to reveal something that's going to change the console landscape forever, and that's what gave sort of like a little bit of credit to this whole Sony rumor, was the fact that, well, Gaikai was actually saying that they were going to do something major this E3. So I don't know. I mean, who knows what will actually come of that in the future? But honestly, I'm not disappointed. I'm just surprised that there wasn't more features announced just in general. You know, like what we got some cool stuff here and there, but overall, I think tomorrow is going to take the cake.
Yeah, that's another part of my disappointment for E3 so far. I mean, all the leaks and pre-announcements, and then what you show in your conference is the same thing you just announced.
I know.
Why wouldn't you leave room for unannounced stuff if you're doing that?
I know, exactly. Like, why would you have shown, knowing how big the franchise is, why would you have shown God of War early? Like, through that Facebook thing or whatever. I don't get that. Like, that would have been a huge thing. People would have been like, oh, wow, a new God of War, yay, and all this.
Yeah,
so
they
yeah,
should have kept
so far
the gameplay to they should have kept the gameplay to the show floor, not the conference.
Right.
Well, me,
so far, my biggest surprise is Ubisoft with Watch Dogs. They kept a big secret there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which somebody of us knew about beforehand. Hint, hint.
But that really surprises me. I mean, a third-party company is what is getting my vote right now for the most impressive E3.
Same here.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
And they were always my least favorite.
Yeah,
same here. And last year that sucked. Their conference sucked so bad, man.
Oh no, nothing will ever beat that year with James Cameron. I swear, I wanted to kill myself. I was just sitting there, and he's talking all hypothetical stuff and all about Avatar. They didn't show one bloody screenshot from the movie. He's just standing there talking for like 45 minutes on the movie. I was like, really? Honestly? You could have shown us the damn movie at this point. So yeah, to go from that to like boobies and girlwood and like all stuff like that, that's awesome.
Yeah, the humor was a bit too vulgar, but it was okay. Gamer humor.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Go ahead. No.
No, yeah, I like that they didn't cater to the kids. They didn't assume there were kids there, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we should probably wrap this up. Hope you guys can all join tomorrow, but it might not be possible because I don't have it with me, but Nintendo's conference is... when is their conference? Is it again at like 12 o'clock or 11:30?
It's at 12.
Yeah, noon on the dot.
Wonderful. So I'm probably going to be here, just you and me, Ahmed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's okay.
It could work out.
That's it. We'll have a good time. But anyways, everyone, you guys are all obviously free to join if you can, but I think you're all busy. But let's not forget that Nintendo has another press conference set up on Wednesday evening at the same time as this Sony one.
Yeah, if we could cover that live, it would be nice.
Yeah, so we'll be able to do that. All right, so thanks for joining, everybody, and we will be back tomorrow. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.